9 black kids enter a white high school to get their educational needs, but are kicked out because they were black. Court cases, protests, and physical abuse in the streets go on as the black kids try to enter the school. Did they really want to go in? Why was there so much opposition to those innocent black kids? In 1957, the LittleRockNine were a group of 9 black students who enrolled in a white high school called Little Rock Central High School. The crisis followed their enrollment, where whites were fighting for the segregation of whites and blacks in educational facilities. The governor of Arkansas, Orval Faubus, was on the side of the whites, also supporting segregation. Court cases took place over a large span of time, an important factor in contribution to the reopening of the school a year later, where the black students went to and eventually graduated from. So how did the LittleRockNine crisis come about? In 1954, the Supreme Court called for desegregation of public schools in the Brown v. Board of Education case. This was one of the 5 cases heard by the Supreme Court regarding segregation in public schools. According to OurDocuments.gov, the issue at hand here was the question of whether it was constitutional to segregate in schools, since the separate school systems for blacks and whites weren't equal and they went against the 14th Amendment. The opinion of the court on this issue was delivered by Chief Justice Warren on May 14th of 1954. He stated, "We conclude that in the field of public education, the doctrine of separate but equal has no place. Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal." This was an overturn of the Plessy v. Ferguson case in the aspect of it overpowering the separate but equal principle during 1896. The justices commanded that desegregation was to proceed with all deliberate speed. The Little Rock School Board had agreed to follow the desegregation policy in school ruling, followed by the registration of those 9 black kids by the NAACP 2 years later. Their names were Ernest Green, Elizabeth Eckford, Jefferson Thomas, Terrence Roberts, Carlotta Walls, Minnie Jean Brown, Gloria Ray, Thelma Mothershed, and Melba Patillo. Unfortunately, as the 9 students attempted to enter the school building on September 4th of 1957, the National Guard took them away as ordered by Governor Orval Faubus. The next day, President Eisenhower sent a telegram to Governor Faubus regarding the governor's ignorance to the court's decision. The press release of this telegram resulted in the delivery of another telegram from King to Eisenhower on September 9th of 1957. Encouraging him to take stronger actions regarding the crisis going on in Little Rock in support of desegregation. Orval Faubus sent a reply to Eisenhower via telegram on September 12th, saying he will meet with Eisenhower in 2 days at his headquarters. No content related to the crisis was communicated. As Faubus said, he met with Eisenhower in Newport, Rhode Island on September 14th. Stated on a telegram with notes from both sides, they seemed to be in agreement on terms as to respecting the court's decision and aiding in establishing desegregation in educational facilities. Looking more closely at this document, the origin is an immediate press release of a statement by President Eisenhower and Governor Faubus in Newport, Rhode Island on September 14th of 1957. The purpose is to inform that Faubus was on board with Eisenhower in regards to following the court's demands of integration. The first value is that it's a primary document because it's a first-hand account of what President Eisenhower and Governor Faubus had to say after their meeting. Secondly, this document shows the agreement of 2 high-powered people, the President of the United States and the Governor of Arkansas. The first limitation is that it's unlikely to show the exact wording of the meeting, so it may have been summarized to only show the agreed-upon moments. The second limitation is that it's unlikely to show Governor Faubus's sudden shift from supporting segregation to supporting integration. 6 days later, on September 23rd, the Little Rock police took the 9 students into the school earlier than normal school time to prevent angry mobs from protesting and rioting. However, the whites were aware of the students entering and over 1,000 protesters crowded around the school. Unfortunately, the police, being in minority compared to the protesters, had no other choice but to take the 9 students out of the school to prevent from further violence and ensure safety for all. Displeased with the results, Eisenhower explained the order to the members of the 101st Airborne Division of the U.S. Army to Little Rock through his address from the White House. With the security system of having guards on the entire school ground, it allowed the LittleRockNine to finally be able to attend a full school day on September 25th. The oldest student out of the LittleRockNine, Ernest Green, was the first black student to have graduated from Central High School on May 27, 1957. After fighting and not giving up, the 9 students were able to finally get the education that they came to get. This was crucial to the civil rights movement because integration in educational facilities became a law. Only after this crisis, the separate but equal principle was revisited and abolished. On Wednesday, August 28th of 2013, Here and Now shares reflections from Carlota Walls, the youngest out of the 9 students. One of her powerful sayings during the interview with Robin Young was, "It's important for as many of us to talk about what we went through, so that history does not continue to repeat itself." These kids who left a legacy from when they were very young have an impact on our lives today. Fortunately, integration isn't a problem, thanks to the LittleRockNine who strived for racial justice. Just a few years back, in August 2005, sculptures were made in acknowledgement of the 9 students in the Arkansas state capitol that can be still viewed today.